So how does a dealership kind of define, what makes them different for their competitors so that those differences can be translated into an experience? Georgia, I'll start with you, and then Terry, I'll ask you kind of the same question. How do we help a dealership define what differentiates them from their competition?
Yeah, great. That's a great question. And you know what? There's no silver bullet answer here, right? It's honestly um, each individual dealership has a uniqueness about them, and it's not their family owned, but there is a narrative that they all have. There is a uniqueness about them that they all have that needs to be told, and it's it, it, that's what's actually going to make people um, come into your dealership specifically if they are attached somehow to your narrative, to your story, to your people. And we keep coming back to the humanization of this. If they're attached somehow, that's why I feel like community involvement for specific dealerships is so important, um, to establish those relationships. And whether you're a dealer and you start with sponsorships of little league teams and so on and so forth, those are important. And that actually draws and builds your relationship and differentiates you from the guy down the street who may not be involved in the community. So there are a number of different ways to do that, but you're all individually unique. It's how you communicate that message, I think, that's going to separate you from everybody else. And today, um, a lot of people are doing things right, but many are not doing anything at all. And that is the challenge. There has to be a consistency. So today, everybody's hunkered down because, and saying, I don't want to spend any marketing dollars for my social platforms. I don't want to do this. Well, frankly, that's the wrong answer, in my opinion. You need to actually tell people you're open for business. Things have changed. We're not denying that. But there's a number of ways that we can still generate that experience and exposure of our products and services to you guys. And Terry already jumped on it with video. I can do a vehicle walk around. I can show you, you bring your car in for service. I can tell you why you need new brakes. Here, let me hold up my phone camera and FaceTime you and show you why there's some wear and tear. So all those things combined, I think, help you accomplish that uniqueness about you. So there, but the point is that you have to do something. You just can't sit on your hands.
Well, you have to define it, right? You,
Yes.
you can't just let the salespeople define it for you. You can't let the customer define it for you because the customer will define it, right, Terry? I mean, you can go read reviews and it will
Yeah.
straight up those within those reviews it will say good or bad. All right,
Yeah.
what made you different from some other company? So Terry, I'd love to get your kind of thoughts on this as well. It's like, how do we help a dealership kind of define what makes them unique or different from their competition?
Well, here's a common misunderstanding about branding and reputation and all of that too. What the business says and what the dealer defines it as doesn't mean squat, right? You can say anything you want. That's not what your brand is. You can call yourself anything you want. That's not what your reputation is. The only thing that matters is what the customer says your reputation is, what the customer says your brand is, what the customer says in those reviews that they're writing everywhere. So that's what you have to manage, not the words that you spit out, but the experience that you're actually giving that's creating this thing that you want to create. And you have to manage that. And the only differentiation you're going to have, the manufacturers have made all the buildings look the same. All the advertising sounds the same. All the pricing is the same. They all come from the same factory. The only thing that's going to differentiate your store from every other store in North America is the people who work there and the experience they provide. So that's your only differentiation. And that's the only way that you can manage the reputation and what your customers are saying about you. You have to put your people out there and make them happy. You have to build this culture because happy salespeople create happy customers. Happy employees all over create happy customers. And you have to build this thing organically that keeps it going, so that every time I talk about video, but if the salesperson's a miserable cuss and hates his job and hates his dog and hates his wife and everything else, you don't want him on video, right? Because he's a miserable cuss on video, same as he is on person. So you need people who are happy and enjoy their jobs and are ready to help people, and then get out there and do it, and sing about it to the wind. If they learn that they can support themselves and build their own businesses by singing your praises, they will sing your praises all day long.